Organizing challenges for green socialism. What is the balance between electoral organizing, mutual aid, and workplace organizing? Um, like I said earlier, we need to have a multiplicity of tactics. A lot of power is sequestered in electoral politics, and that means that we can't abandon it, right? Doesn't mean it should be our primary focus, but it's something we need to engage in. Similarly, with mutual aid and parallel, creating parallel power structures, we need to be working on that. We need to be working in our workplaces. We need to be working in our communities. What can we learn from municipalists and other modern movements? How do we organize as an independent party and movement while under major suppression by the ruling class? A lot of people don't understand the level of oppression that third parties face in this country. I live in central Illinois. To run for U.S. House just as an example, to run for U.S. House as a Republican or Democrat in my district, you have to collect between 750 and 800 signatures. Not by a global standard, that's high. By a subjective U.S. standard, that's not bad. To run as a green or libertarian or an independent in my same district, I have to collect over 15,000 signatures in 90 days from a largely rural district, right? They haven't said Greens can't exist, but they've created laws. They've created rules for ballot access that make it almost impossible for us to get on the ballot. In New York, where they already had one of the worst barriers in the entire country, during COVID, the Democrats attached a ballot access law to a COVID relief bill and passed it, tripling the number of signatures that were required to get on the ballot. So now in New York, to get a governor or a presidential candidate on the ballot, which is required by law in order to get recognized as a party and overcome this, they have to collect 45,000 signatures in 42 days, I believe, right? That's a massive undertaking that honestly, even parties like the Republicans and Democrats would have a hard time achieving. So we have to, really think about how do we organize? Because we can't win at the game, right? The game is rigged. So how do we organize in a way that breaks the game, that shatters the bubble, that creates a fracture in the system that gives us the opportunity to grow? And then what is the balance between decentralization and centralized planning and organizing, right? Especially now with just a matter of years left before we reach kind of a no-go point on climate crisis, right? There is a need for a centralized shift. If we wanted to do a completely anarchist, we change the whole world through a million local movements. The time for that was decades ago. Right now, we're at a point where we spent too long doing nothing. We don't have time for a gradual shift to address the crisis. We need a rapid transformation of our society away from capitalism and towards socialism. So that's a big organizing challenge that we have to think about. And you can go back in and look at some of our past workshops like Organizing 101, where we talk about basic organizing principles to kind of answer some of these questions. If you're a Green and you're going to attend the annual national meeting this August, which is going to be remote on Zoom, I assume, I'll actually be doing a version of our Organizing 101 where we get into some basic organizing tactics. If you look at our older, at session 3 and session 4 of our organizing workshops from 2022, what you'll find is us focusing on how to rebuild a local or how to build a local on your own. So really getting into green organizing instead of just broad organizing theory.